Welcome back to Cask and Point. Today we are doing the battle of the Michter's 10 years. So the Michter's 10 years are not products that I've typically been a big fan of in the past, but I want to revisit them again with you guys, and I've actually never gotten to try them together. I've always had the rye against other things, I've always had the bourbon against other things, but today I want to put them up head to head, see the kinds of similarities that we have between them, see the kinds of differences, see which one I really prefer, and we have some good contenders. So we have the Michter's 10-year rye 23H, which is the most popular Michter's 10 over the last few years. People said that this is just the golden set of barrels, and actually Breaking Bourbon rated this a perfect 5, which is, I believe, only happened to about 4 different whiskeys, and Russell's 15 was one this year, but last year it was Michter's 23H, received such an honorable rating, and so I'm interested to see and try it here with you guys today. And then we have Michter's 10-year bourbon. Now, this is actually from 2020. This is 20G, and Michter's is interesting because people say that the older the Michter's, the better the product is. Michter's from 2015, 2016 are just so much better than the Michter's from 2018, 2019, which are so much better than the Michter's today. And I kind of want to see if that's true, and so I'm putting up the best rye that people have said in the last few years versus a bourbon that's a couple of years old. I couldn't get a sample of 23A. That's been the more recent one that people have really enjoyed, but let's see if 20G can hold its own, and let's get right into it. So Michter's 10-year rye here, MSRP is about $200, and this is only 92.8 proof, and so this is what makes these products so polarizing, because they're supposedly the low-proof beasts. And as somebody that really likes their hazmat whiskey, let's see how these 90 proofs can stack up here. Now, I have done a review already on Michter's 2024 10-year bourbon, and I thought it was good, but I know a lot of people talked to me about that review, and I thought it was worth revisiting, so let's do it here today. But let's get into this rye first. So this is 23H here. I said MSRP about $200, secondary about $250. So expectations are decently high. A lot of sweet rye candy on the nose here. A lot of seagrass, a lot of sugarcane. Definitely a lot of vanilla, rich oak on this. It smells actually really nice. I will say it's definitely a little bit powerful, especially for 92.8 proof. Wow, that smells good. There's oak, there's vanilla, there's caramel. Definitely a lot of that rye candy on this. Let's try it. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So I have tried 23H a few times, and I've actually tried multiple 23Hs, and every time I try it, I always think, it's good, it's nothing crazy. This is definitely the best that I've tried. It's definitely warming up to my palate a little bit more. Definitely starting to appreciate the nuance here. There is going to be a good complexity of flavor. You're going to get a lot of different elements. You're going to get a little bit of that oak, that vanilla. You're going to get a little bit of that rye candy sweetness on it, the caramel, the sugar cane, all of that. You're also going to get a good amount of kind of like mint and cloves, and also like a little bit of graham cracker as well on this, some marshmallow. That's interesting. It's almost like a double oaked rye, because it has that kind of like marshmallow toasty sweetness as well on top of everything else. It's a good rye. It's a good rye. Is it $250? That's what I struggle with these Michter's products. I really do like them, but it's hard to say that they aren't overpriced. But let's see. Let's take another sip. It's good. It's good. It tastes like 92.8 proof though. Like, you have a nice flash of flavors. The flavor profile is really enjoyable, and there are so many different elements here, but the finish is like short to medium. And it's really light. I wish there was just more of it. I wish this was closer to cask strength. Now, there is a Michter's barrel strength rye, a bottle that I have here in the corner, and that is probably my favorite Michter's product. I think I'll have to do a nice flight with all of them sometime soon to really see, but yeah, I don't know, this Michter's 10-year rye, it's good, it's good. There's a lot of flavor on it, and I'm definitely appreciating it more. I'm definitely getting closer to thinking this could be worth MSRP, but I don't think it's worth MSRP. Let's take another sip. Yeah, now on that sip, I am getting a little bit of caramel, a little bit of cherry, a little bit of plum, and, you know, still getting the toasty, marshmallowy flavors on this. So you have fruit, you have the rye, you have the marshmallow, you have all these different elements, and the fact that you have all of that in one whiskey at that proof is really impressive. The fact that you could sit back and not really have to deal with any of the nice burn of a hazmat and get all that kind of complexity, that's what people like about this product. But as somebody that really likes to be punched in the face with their whiskey, it's okay. It's pretty good. I'm leaning high sevens here. I will come back to this and give it a rating, but let's go on to the bourbon first. Let's see how well the bourbon can stack up. So these Michter's 10 years are actually still sourced whiskeys, which is interesting. Michter's started redistilling fewer than 10 years ago, and so these are necessarily sourced whiskeys from Kentucky. However, Michter's did a really interesting thing, which is that their barrel strengths are supposedly no longer sourced whiskeys, and they spent years and years experimenting to try to match the exact flavor profile of the whiskeys that they were sourcing to the whiskeys that they're actually distilling now. And so people haven't noticed a huge difference in the Michter's barrel strengths, but anyways, that's just a fun little tidbit. Yeah, this is 94.4 proof. It's also about $200 MSRP. Secondary on it is a little bit higher. It's about $300 to $325. And on the nose, there's definitely some caramel on this. There's definitely a little bit of tobacco. Definitely pretty different. I will say the underlying core of the oak and the vanilla is pretty similar. But instead of that like flashy rye candy, I get a lot of tobacco. A lot of dust on this one. And it's good. And there is definitely more cherry on it as well, which I do like. I'm still also getting those toasty flavors as well. Let's try it. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm really interested to see how Michter's 20 is going to stack up to this. Now, I am expecting a sample of Michter's 20 sometime soon. And people say Michter's 20 takes Michter's 10 and turns it into a whole different world. So I can only imagine how good that could be. But this Michter's 10 is good. Again, I really enjoyed the flavor profile. I just wish I got more of it. And for this one, I think it's pretty similar to the 2024 Michter's. I actually don't think this is all that different. I think it starts off with a lot of caramel. I think there's a good amount of red fruit, and then I think it gets into your tobacco towards the end. I think it's a nice development of flavors. I think it's a good flavor profile, but it tastes 94.4 proof. And for some people, that really is a strong pro. Not everybody in the world likes their hazmat whiskey. But I like my hazmat whiskey. Let's take another sip here. It's solid. It's solid. I don't know if I actually like the rye or the bourbon more. They're actually surprisingly different. I think the rye is sweeter. I think you're getting like a graham cracker sweetness on this. I think you're getting really similar to like, honestly, like the Angel's Envy rye finish. Graham cracker sweetness, toasted marshmallow sweetness, and you still get that sugarcane caramel sweetness on this. And that's all with an underlying oak and vanilla presence. Whereas the bourbon, it is a little bit hotter on the nose, actually. It smells like a good bit hotter here. There's a good amount of tobacco, more red fruit on this. Still, you have that oak, you have that kind of Michter's Funk oak on it. And every distillery, their oak does taste and smell a little bit different. And it's hard to describe, but like, Wild Turkey, their oak, as it gets older, kind of gets a little bit like tobacco chewiness on it. Buffalo Trace, they get a little bit sweeter than most other oaks. Michter's tends to just get this really funky, kind of dusty note on it, which is probably why people go absolutely mad for the Michter's 20 and obviously the 25 and the 25 Rye that people say are some of the best whiskeys that were ever created. I kind of get it, because I think that kind of note can really get interesting as it gets older. But anyways, let's take this final sip here. Let's give it a rating. Let's go back to the rye. Let's give that a rating, and let's see who the real winner is. It's good. It's good. Caramel candy. Cherry. A little bit of tobacco towards the end. Not as much tobacco as I think on other batches. I think a lot of the 23 and 24 batches had more tobacco than this 20G, but it's good. I'm going to go ahead and rate this a 7.7. I think it's solid. I think I rated the 2024 a 7.6, so it's a little bit better. I am appreciating it a little bit more over time, but it's still not a bottle I'm going to buy at MSRP, let alone at secondary at $300. I can see why people like it though. I think you have enough flavor that at that proof, I mean, the fact that you can get that kind of flavor is really impressive. It's a different kind of pour. It's a different mood pour. I think this is the kind of thing that you could drink at all times of the day. Maybe you don't want to drink it at all times of the day. You could drink it at all times of the day though. But it's kind of that kind of pour that it's relaxing. It's a good, nice flavor bomb for what it is. But it's not the kind of pour that you really want to have when you're having a bunch of like hazmat whiskeys. I just don't think it's going to hold up. But let's go back to the rye. Okay, that graham cracker is so nice. That marshmallow is so nice here. Wow. And that rye has grown on me a lot. That's really interesting. Wow. Now, we are going to be mixing these at the end here and give that a rating as well, because we have to find out what the Michter's 10 Year Rye tastes like. But, wow, that's really interesting. I think I like it slightly more than the bourbon. I think I'm going to rate this 7.8. I think it's really close. I think there are elements to them that I really enjoy, but I think you're looking at a little bit hotter, which I like. The cherry, your tobacco, your caramel on this, whereas you're looking at graham cracker, toasted marshmallow, all of these things on this rye. These are good pours. These are very good pours here, but they're just not $200 pours to me, but they're not far off. Like, I think if these were $150, I'd really look at them much more positively. But obviously, now we're going to find out if the Michter's 10 Year Rye is better or worse than the Michter's 10 Rye and the Michter's 10 Bourbon. Let's get right into it. Okay, it smells really weird. There's cherry on the forefront, and then there's like a little bit of marshmallow like fighting through towards the end. Okay, let's try this. Okay, don't blend your whiskey, folks. It's a little bit harsh. There's actually, it just kind of tastes much more similar to the bourbon than the rye. You kind of get the bourbon for the most part towards the end. You get the like nice rye, toasted marshmallow graham cracker. Actually, that's kind of coming around to me. That might not be all that bad. The nose is just totally muddled. Like, you've just ruined the nose on both of them. The palate, though, is not the worst thing in the world, because it seems like the Michter's 10 bourbonness is in the beginning, and then the rye is for the... I'm actually going to take a second sip here and rate it. No, okay, it got worse. It's a little bit tannic. Okay, don't mix your whiskey, lads. That's a 7.4. I don't like it. But anyways, I think the rye is a little bit better today. I think I could go either way depending on the mood. Good pours. Worth $200? I don't think so. But I think they're worth like 150 bucks. So I think if you got it for MSRP, you're really killing for this bottle. I don't think it's a crazy pickup. I don't think I'd pay secondary on either. I think definitely save your money on this. Definitely, I think the barrel strengths are slightly better, but we will get into that sometime soon. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I hope you had some fun. Catch you all in the next one.